Tutorial, I'm going to show you how to work with text, and this will be our first animation for exercise 2. So if you've just opened up After Effects, you'll see this screen, and what we're going to do is just close it. No, we don't need to review our workspace right now. I'm going to go to New Composition. Okay. Now, if you have a project that's already open, you can go New Project this way. Okay. And I'll ask you to save, and then you save, and then you go to New Composition. Okay. Now, let's open up New Composition. We're going to choose this one. This is a preset here, okay? And if you look under your presets, you've got all these different ones here. We're going to choose Social Media Landscape HD, and it's going to be 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second, okay? For this animation, we're going to make it 10 seconds long, okay? So you want to change it to this right here. And then for our background, we're going to leave it white. So let's click OK. All right, so if we're going to work with text, and we've got nothing on yet as far as, no layers, nothing. If we go and grab the text tool and click, and you see it just made a new text layer. So what you're going to need to type in is hello, and we're going to use our caps lock and type in hello and put a comma, okay? I want to change this font, and if you notice over here, the text has popped up. The text window's popped up. Now, if it hasn't popped up for you, you can go over here and bring it and click on text, and it will show you just the text panel, which may be helpful for you, okay? So, I'm looking for a very bold font, and something, because there's not going to be a lot of text, and I usually like to use Impact for this. And so let's see if we could find it, and we could just click in here. IMPA, and there we go. There's Impact right there. All right, so we've changed it to Impact. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to enlarge this font. And if you go over to your font size here in your character palette, you notice it only goes up to 72. Okay? Well, again, much like the controls where you are changing scale or opacity, or we can actually scrub this. Okay, so you see you got the little hand there with the two arrows. If we click and drag over towards our right, it gets larger. Okay. I'm going to actually bring our timeline down so we can see our entire window here. And the next thing I want to do is, and we can make it even larger than that. Okay. Hello. Okay. So I want to align this to the center of the screen. We can grab our selection tool and do that. Okay. But the other thing we could do also is we could have something to guide us, and I'm going to go over down here where it says choose grid and guide options, okay? And we click on this, and it looks like a little rectangle with crosshairs. We're going to actually use title action safe. Now you can, and you'll get this, okay? You can show your rulers if you want, okay? You can show a grid if you want. You can show all these things if it helps you out. I'm going to turn off these things now. I'm just wanting, I'll close my rulers here. I'm just wanting this right here, this title action safe guide here, this template. So let's bring that down into the center there. Okay, great. Now we're ready to animate this. And in order to animate this, what I'm going to do is for this tutorial, we're going to talk about using presets outside of After Effects. And so what we're going to do is go up to the animation in the top menu bar. Okay, we're going to go down to Browse Presets. Now this will open up Bridge, and it may take a moment for it to open up on your computer, but mine was already open. That's why it opened so quickly. Okay, and you should see this right now. Okay, so we're looking at computer, see presets. We're going to look for text. and I'm going to double click text and bring it over, open it up, that is. And there's all these options for animating text. And what we're going to be using is simple. We're going to use Animate In. We'll double click that. And why it's good to use Bridge is because you can actually preview the presets, okay? And they've got whoops, I just clicked. My mouse is very sensitive. I'm going to stop that for a moment, okay? You can actually undo, and it will take off that preset, okay? And let's go back out again. Bridge may be open here. Yeah, Bridge is open, okay. So therefore, I can just go back to Bridge, and I'm just going to be careful with my mouse as I click on things. So what I'm doing is I'm going to preview a few more of these first. Okay, I'm not crazy about that one. Shuffle in's okay. We got decode, which is kind of cool. Okay. And then we got decoder fade in. And then we got drop in by character. It drops it in very quickly, okay. We got Espresso I. And it says something else. Espresso eye chart. So it's like an eye chart kind of thing. Okay. And then we got fade up by character. And fade up by character. Well, we got two of these fade up by characters, okay? And this is fade up and flip. This is just fade up. And actually, that's the one I want to use, okay? And we can keep looking, and you can browse through this, but this is the one I'm going to use for this exercise. And I'm just going to double click it. Now, in a previous tutorial, I said that you had to right click and place it in, and that's because back in 2023 when I was doing a tutorial, that was required. If you double click, it just didn't work. All right, so I double click. Oops, I got to stop it first. So I hit my space bar, so it stops this over here, and therefore it plops it right in there, okay? Now, you don't see anything, but if you hit your space bar, and then we're back in After Effects here, okay? If you hit your space bar, you'll see it. So now we've animated this little piece of text here, hello. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the U key. And the U key will show us our keyframes. And it shows us where the last keyframe ends around 2 seconds. If we want to, we can shorten this so it does it much faster, because now we have access to keyframes. So we can make it much faster, or we can lengthen it out and make it much slower. Okay? I'm actually going to keep it at 2 seconds for the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten my layer here. I'm going to come over here and drag it in here like this. So our layer will end, and I'm going to have it end just slightly after the keyframe. Not on the keyframe, but slightly after, okay? And I'm going to drag my timeline indicator over. Now, next what we're going to do is we're going to make a new text layer. And in order to do that, there's a couple of things we could do, but the main thing I want to show you is doing this. Is go to Layer, New, Text. And then I'll bring it in like that, okay? And so now we're going to type in and use a caps lock. My name is, okay? And we might need to reposition this. I'm going to actually close this properties window here. It popped up. I'm going to get my selection tool, and we'll drag it down. Now, if we want to see where the other text was at, we could do that. Oops, this occurred. Okay. Now, the reason why this has occurred, and this may happen to you, is when you start moving things or you try to play it, you'll see this. And right now we're getting a warning. Release disable. So refresh disabled. I apologize. I don't have my glasses on. Release caps lock to refresh view. There we go. Probably a good idea if I wore my glasses for this tutorial. But anyway, I'm going to carry on here. And I'm going to drag the timeline indicator back just a little bit so we can see where the other text was at. And I'm just going to drag this down so that it kind of meets up. There we go. Good. All right, now I'm going to drag my timeline indicator back over to the end of that second layer where it says hello, and I'm going to shorten this first layer where it says my name is and have it begin right where the other one ends, okay? And we're going to keep our timeline indicator right here, okay? Now, let's go and we're going to find another preset. So let's go to Animation, Browse Presets. And we're going to go back to Text, Animate In, and we're going to look at some other ones here, okay? Just to see what they look like. This is Fade Up Words. That's nice. This is Fly In from bottom. Okay. Fly In a twist. We got Flicker. I'm actually going to kind of just move along here to some of these more interesting ones here, okay? Raining Characters is kind of neat. Random. Here's a Shuffle. Okay. I didn't like Buzz. That's why I kind of skipped over it. Slide and pop in. And slide down by character, which is not bad. Slide in by line. As you can see, there's so many choices here. And this is just animate in. There's other choices. Let's look at slide in by character down here. And that's the one I want to use, okay? So let's hit my space bar so we can stop the preview here, okay? And double click it. And it's not doing anything. Hold on. There it goes. Okay, I had to hit my space bar again. I don't know if you run into problems, hit your space bar again, see if that will help you out. Now, you don't see anything, remember, because this is going to be fading in like this, okay, or sliding up like that. Now, let's hit the U key to see where those keyframes are at, and they end around at 4. I'm going to actually extend my keyframe out just a little bit. And go out to the final keyframe will end at 5. So let's take a look at this animation. I'm going to drag my timeline indicator over the beginning here. Hello, my name is. Okay, and right where it ends at, we're going to drag our layer. So, what I mean by drag it, we're going to shorten our layer. Okay, we're going to shorten our layer to, I don't know, in between 5 and 5:15, somewhere in there, just slightly after the keyframe ends, okay? And then I'm going to drag my timeline indicator over to the end here. And now let's go and I'm going to deselect everything for a second. I'm going to click off of everything. And I'm just going to click on, we'll click on this right here. Now, notice this. If I have my text on like this, and we go and get our text tool and click, what's going to happen is it's just going to put the cursor in, okay? And so we would get to type again. Let's drag this all the way out here to the end here. And if we click and there's no text, let's see what happens. Okay, it made a new layer. So that's another way to make a new layer, okay? So on this layer, let's shorten it so it will begin somewhere over here. Okay. Okay, so my cursor went away. Let's double click and see. Okay, I double clicked over here. It says empty text layer right now. And now we'll type in your name. And so my name, I'm going to type in. You type in your name. I can't even spell my name right now. Okay. All right, so if your name is really big, we'll just come over here to the font size and scrub it down, okay? And we got to highlight it. So let's go back over and highlight our text. And we'll try to get all of it. I triple clicked, I think, in order to highlight all of that. Okay, so let's drag this down, make it smaller. That's good. Now let's drag this layer over just a little bit. What I mean by that is click on the layer, drag it over. Okay, and then let's click over here. Now again, we got to take our caps lock off. And this will allow me to see how to line this up. Okay, we're going to drag, what I'm doing is, is I got my selection tool. V is a keyboard shortcut if you want to use keyboard shortcuts. And we're just going to try to center this in between that. Now, let's drag our layer so it begins where the other one ends. Let's bring our timeline indicator over to the beginning of that layer now. And then let's go and find another preset. So animation, browse presets, text, animate in. And this one, I don't know. I was thinking of trying to maybe the slide and pop in might be kind of cool. There's also some slower stuff here, which is neat. So there's slow. Oh, I just clicked it. Boy, my mouse is extremely sensitive. Let's play it and see what it looks like. Well, I don't mind that. Now, if I didn't like that, I would hit Command Z. It would take that preset off, and then I can go back into Bridge or go all the way back up here and change that, okay? But I kind of like how that does. And so this is our first little animation for our exercise. Let's hit the U key and see where the keyframes end. And we'll just drag this out a little bit longer so it makes my name fade in there a little bit longer. We'll play it one more time here. Okay, excellent. So now what we're going to do is in order to familiarize yourself with the proper procedures, it's always good to practice saving it. So we're going to go save as. Okay. Since we don't have any, since this is a new project and we haven't started with a folder, we want to go to our desktop and we're going to make a new folder. Okay, we're going to call this one, I say first animation. I think I got one already made that says this, but let's see here. Okay, create. And then we're going to title this our first animation. Okay, or animation 1. We save it. Now it's saved. All right, now let's go to composition, add to render queue. And again, we don't really need to play around with best settings. And I say again because I've talked about this before in class. We don't need to do anything with this. We're going to leave this at full resolution. This needs to be set to, and then we'll come down to output module. And I'm just clicking on it for a second, but we just want to make sure this is going to be H.264, which is our MP4 format, okay? And that's the only reason I clicked on that. You won't need to do that. This is the most important one. Not yet specified. Output to not yet specified. We'll click on that, and we'll click on desktop, okay? And we'll title this Animation 1. We'll hit save. We'll hit render. Okay, and now you can take your animation and upload the MP4 into our D2L class, and that will be the first animation that you'll submit for this exercise. There's going to be 2 others, okay?